Coming up on this year in review edition of West Side Stories, we take a look back at one Grand Valley State University student who has an interesting hobby.
Plus how one Grand Rapids organization has been attempting to green up the city.
And we revisit one local ice cream parlor with a famous connection. All that and plenty more next on West Side Stories Year in Review.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.
Happy New Year and welcome to part 2 of our 2017 Year in Review edition of West Side Stories. I'm Preston Donikoski.
And I'm Reagan Blissett. As we mentioned last week, 2017 has been an exciting year for us here at West Side Stories. After 10 pilot shows and a lot of hard work, we are proud to be a regular weekly show right here at WGVU's Life channel.
West Side Stories is produced by students from Grand Valley State University's Multimedia Journalism program. We cover events and happenings on the Sunset side of Michigan, always looking for unique stories to bring you. We meet the people and explore the places that make the west side of Michigan one of the best places to live and work in the Midwest. On
today's show, we'd like to bring you some more of our favorite stories from 2017.
As we continue our look back at some of the best stories of the past year, we thought it would be appropriate to start with a close-up look at Michigan's notoriously unpredictable weather.
Most people who see a storm coming run for cover, but not for the young man you're about to meet. He runs at the storm. Jessica Kroll introduces us to one Grand Valley State University student whose hobby puts himself in danger.
A sound warning people to take cover. But how do you do that when you're only 250 yards away from the storm?
The car ended up overheating and stalling on the highway. So I have this 1.5 mile wide tornado sitting to my northwest as it's moving slightly across the road in front of me. My wind instruments on top of my car ended up measuring about 112 miles an hour, 113, and the car did a little shake towards the tornado.
While others avoid it, one Grand Valley student puts himself in the middle of it. Growing up on a small farm in Leslie, Michigan, Ethan Mulnix witnessed his first tornado at only 4 years old.
A tornado went through my backyard and ended up ripping up this apple tree that I used to climb as a kid. Just staring out, my mom holding me up, and you just watch it and then there it goes. It's gone within 30 seconds. And then unfortunately it killed one of my dogs in the process, and ever since then it's just been a passion to why and how did that happen.
He never passes up a good storm.
I chase whenever the time comes, whenever I have time and money to do so.
Mulnix has seen over 60 tornadoes so far during his career, and many of his chases have been with his now retired storm chasing car. The Grand Am has taken a beating from wind and hail.
I had one hit here, and it spiked it up to here for a little bit.
But is capable of measuring wind speed and rain. It includes lights, sirens,
tornado incoming, tornado incoming,
and a GoPro camera mount that's seen plenty of action. His biggest storm chasing inspiration is Jesse Walters.
We had a podcast, Saskatchewan Weather, actually, and I ended up meeting him through that podcast. And ever since then, he's been my influence. He knows how to chase them correctly, how to stay safe.
And according to Court Skolton of the National Weather Service, staying safe is one of the biggest concerns.
Storm chasing is a fairly dangerous thing to do, even for fun, and even for professionals, it's still quite dangerous. So we don't recommend going out there and risking life and limb just to see a tornado.
The danger hasn't stopped the JW Severe Weather Storm Chasing Team, co-founded by Mulnix and Walters. They developed a data probe to measure and understand conditions by placing it directly inside a tornado.
We actually successfully did that last year in Chapman, Kansas. Ended up getting a 360 video of it and everything, which was sweet. I mean, you can see the inside of a tornado for the first time in 360 view.
The team also provides relief efforts after disaster strikes. But when Mulnix isn't storm chasing across the country, he's playing hockey, soccer, and studying geography at GVSU.
The way geography works here at Grand Valley is that it incorporates weather into it, or climate factors.
Mulnix runs the GV Laker Weather Twitter account too, but even at school, he can't resist chasing. And sometimes that means letting his professors know he won't be in class.
Pretty much the response I got from all of them was, all right, good luck, chase hard kind of type thing. They're okay with that, knowing that I'm out there doing something that I love to do.
While he has had some close calls on his chases, not all of them are terrifying.
By the end of the day, after all your forecasting, all your driving, wherever you have to go to chase what you want to chase, is seeing that beautiful tornado. JW Severe Weather teammate Benjamin Yurkovich actually saw a tornado with a rainbow directly behind it, and that's the most captivating image I've ever seen. I mean, that's pure beauty right there, is seeing something like that. That's what I live for.
Mulnix has no plans to stop chasing anytime soon.
Chasing storms? As long as I live. Until, I can see me 70 years old going to wherever, Taiwan, to chase a super typhoon. I always want to chase stuff.
For West Side Stories in Grand Rapids, I'm Jessica Kroll.
You can check out Ethan and JW Severe Weather on social media and get a first-hand look at what storms Mother Nature is brewing up.
Our next story gives new meaning to the phrase, help a sister out. Callie Hubbard introduces us to a GVSU student who donated one of her kidneys to save a little girl's life.
In January of 2016, Kayla Bates shared a Facebook page for her 10-year-old sister, Emma Bates. Emma was diagnosed with a disease that damaged her kidneys. No one in Emma's family matched her blood type, and Emma had been on the donor list for about 2 years without any luck. Emma's older sister, Kayla, was getting worried. That's when Kayla's sorority sister came to the rescue.
They'd gone through 8 or 10 already of immediate family and close family, and no one had been a match for her, so they were kind of getting desperate because they weren't getting any luck on the donor list as well.
When Jocelyn Rather saw the Facebook post that her sorority sister's biological sister was suffering, she says she had to help.
Well, when I first read the Facebook post, I just kind of felt it, that it's really hard to describe, but that was something that I needed to do or needed to try to do.
After loads of paperwork and blood testing, she received news that would change her life forever.
I was walking home from class and I got the call that it was a match, and if I wanted to tell the Bates family.
Rather says that it was a very emotional meeting.
My mom cried, I cried, her mom cried, everyone just cried. And this big one is where the kidney actually came out.
Jocelyn wanted to give little Emma a second chance at life.
She was a little spitfire, even laying in a hospital bed hooked up to 8 machines. I want her to always be that little spitfire that was in that hospital bed. I know she's going to take advantage of it. I don't have to tell her. She knows what's going on and she knows what she needs to do.
Kayla Bates says she's proud of her sorority sister. She says helping Emma shows the true meaning of sorority sisterhood. From West Side Stories, I'm Callie Hubbard.
Doctors say that Emma is fully recovered from the operation and is doing just fine.
Many see climate change and urban planning as an important issue. One Grand Rapids organization has taken it upon themselves to start a green initiative in their neighborhoods. Natalie Longroy has the story.
The race to green up Grand Rapids is on. A local nonprofit is working hard to make the city green, one tree at a time.
Friends of Grand Rapids Parks is a nonprofit organization. We work in the city of Grand Rapids to enhance, expand, and sustain our city's parks, public spaces, and our urban forests and urban canopy. So we plant trees because they have multifaceted benefits to our community, including stormwater infiltration. They sequester carbon. They provide oxygen for us to breathe. They're very vital components to an urban environment.
The City of Grand Rapids Urban Forestry Committee and Friends of Grand Rapids Parks are working together to plant trees and increase the tree canopy. That's the amount of the city that is shaded by tree. Trees are important in urban areas because they clean the air and water, stop erosion from runoff, and even affect the overall climate of the city.
Well, I think the Friends of the Parks and the tree canopy, City of Grand Rapids has a really high goal on setting a large number of overall tree canopy for the city, which feeds into a lot of their sustainability efforts within the city as far as transportation, as far as the planning overall, you know, water sewer separation, etc. So they're doing a lot in that regard on the sustainability front.
The canopy goal is to cover 40% of the city. Right now, it's at about 34%.
Well, we just hope that we can raise more awareness about our urban forest and raise up citizen foresters in Grand Rapids. So we really want representation from every neighborhood. So the more citizen foresters that we get engaged in tree plantings and maintaining our trees after planting them, the better our city will be at combating a lot of our environmental issues.
Another part of the plan is to plant different species of trees. This would decrease the probability of an entire tree species being wiped out by pest or invasive species. According to the Urban Forest Project website, more than 50% of the trees in the city are maple species. Many of the people who helped at the event are regulars, but they hope to see more community members help plant and learn about trees.
They're really trying to help Grand Rapids. They're really trying to bring a strong environmental education. You know, you need to be a steward for your land. They're trying to, you know, get that, but at the same time, you're making friends.
Reporting from Grand Rapids, I'm Natalie Longroy.
The Friends of Grand Rapids Park say they are reaching out to city residents to help reach their tree canopy goal. You can find out more information by visiting friendsofgrparks.org.
Imagine hanging in the air by a thread of silk no less. Well, that's just exactly what the dance group Aerial Dance Chicago does when they perform. The company might challenge the way you think of dance. Our own Reagan Blissett has more.
We're holding on by our hands 18 feet up, so that is danger itself, I suppose.
When it comes to dance, we imagine the art form being performed on the ground, not 18 feet up. Aerial Dance Chicago is redefining how we think of dance. While most people think it's something you do on a stage, Karen Fischel-Doyle says aerial dance reaches new heights, literally.
Aerial Dance Chicago is a contemporary dance company that takes dance into the vertical floor, meaning that we go up into the space and cover the multi-dimensional area from floor to air and from the traditional stage as well, right to left.
The ADC founder, Chloe Jensen, started the company back in 1999. She began by experimenting with different methods to move above ground, sometimes high above ground. Keep in mind, there's no safety net here, just a lot of training and trust.
We do not rely on any extra mechanical devices. It's all human power, meaning that we have to trust each other, we have to hold each other's hands, we have to climb our own fabrics, we have to spread our own fabrics, and I think what it is it's quite amazing to the audience when they see that it can be just as smooth as a transitional state of dance on the traditional stage.
I've never once had a crazy scare or anything like that, but I will say sometimes when you get up on the stage outside of your studio rehearsal, it's definitely like a little trippy at first, but it's more of like an adrenaline, like riding a roller coaster.
ADC brought their aerial expertise to perform, but also to teach. They held workshops for dance majors at GVSU. Hannah Sudam was one of those students who was fascinated by the athleticism of dancers.
I'm really fascinated by dancers' bodies. I think that they're some of the most amazing athletes in the world, and I think aerial dance shows just how strong and how athletic they are, and I'm more of an athletic build, so I want to just utilize my full power there.
Sudam understands the strength a dancer must have while remaining safe, which is the company's #1 priority. Nielsen keeps herself safe by staying in the zone while she performs.
I have to count. It's a meditation for me, so I feel like I perform, but I keep myself a little bit not going too crazy to be safe and consistent. It's very self-rewarding knowing that it's really hard and you just did all of that.
Sudam says she admires Nielsen's athleticism and grace. She hopes one day to follow in her footsteps.
I thought it was an amazing opportunity to get connected with them and see what they're all about before I actually move out there and audition for them.
In Allendale, I'm Reagan Blissett.
After graduation, Hannah Sudam says she plans to audition for the dance company. Aerial Dance Chicago says they are currently the only dance company to actively pursue and teach the art of aerial dancing in the Chicago area. Nice story, Reagan.
Thank you, Preston. As we continue our 2017 Year in Review show this week, our next stop takes us to the hockey rink. Reporter Paul McPherson takes us to a free event meant to give kids a free shot at hockey.
On November 4th at Eagles Ice Center, the Grand Rapids Blades hosted Try Hockey for Free Day. It's a biannual event run by USA Hockey where boys and girls aged 4 to 9 can try hockey without paying a fee. They can also borrow any gear that they don't currently have, from skates to sticks to pads. It's an event designed to give kids who aren't sure if they will like hockey a chance to try it without going out and buying gear. Blades President John Hoekstra says this is very important for kids to try out.
But the biggest thing is, getting them on the ice and to experience the game. And, out here right now, you see these guys skating around. We have some accomplished players right now helping the kids and just get them, turned on to the game and excited to play.
The event also allowed kids to learn from all different levels of players. They were taught by players from 3 different organizations that all call Eagles Ice Center their home. Hoekstra loves seeing so many people show up to share the love of hockey.
So we have, kids from the Blades organization all the way from Bantam, Pee Wee to Bantam, to, helping out with these kids. We also have a couple of kids from Grand Rapids Christian, which plays out of this rink, and Calvin College. So as far as us being staffed for this event, there's no shortage of talent right now, and it's fun to see these new kids look at these guys skate and play, and just smile and go, wow, I want to be like that.
One reason that hockey can be tough to join is the cost of the gear needed to play. Even for just a young child's gear, it could cost around $500 for all the equipment, and only gets more expensive the older the player gets. Top-of-the-line hockey sticks and helmets both go for over $200. USA Hockey uses this event to allow a kid to try out the sport without his parents spending that kind of money, and to help show that the money is worth it.
Youth hockey is such an amazing sport, and an event like today is really designed to expose kids that may not think they want to play or not think they have the ability to play to come out and really enjoy it and see that you can get on the ice and just have a great time.
The Blades organization, formerly known as East Grand Rapids, is a small program who is looking to grow. And while winning some games and championships would be nice, they want their program and this sport to help grow some good, strong young men and women along the way.
And the benefit of youth sports in general, specifically youth hockey, is we want to make great hockey players, but more importantly, we want to make great young citizens of our communities. And sports is a great outlet for them to grow and develop and learn responsibility and that team spirit and effort there.
The next annual Try Hockey for Free Day will take place on March 3rd. Reporting from Grand Rapids, I'm Paul McPherson.
It feels good to finally get into a story that fits our winter weather. Thanks to Paul McPherson for that story.
And because it's never the wrong season to enjoy your favorite frozen dessert, West Side Stories reporter Jessica Kroll gets the scoop on Hudsonville ice cream and an old-fashioned ice cream parlor with a famous connection.
Sitting on a quiet side street in the Gaslight Village of East Grand Rapids is a Little Red ice cream parlor. Jersey Junction employees make their waffle cones fresh every day and fill them with Hudsonville ice cream.
Smell, I think, kind of entice people, like, let me get a waffle cone with that, and it definitely makes all of the flavors taste better.
Elias Oliveras and his wife bought the store about 10 years ago, and he says it's because of family ties to the parlor in its early days.
I started coming here back in the late 70s. My mom would bring me here, as a very small child, just to get a small cone. Even before I could eat ice cream, I would just suck on one of the cake cones.
Many of the customers are regulars. Jersey Junction even brought one couple together.
Here, a year or two ago, we had a couple come in, and the first year it was open, the wife worked here, and her husband came in and she served him, and he was just very, I'll use the word, smitten by her, and he continued to come like every day religiously to get a cone just so he could see her. And they ended up getting married, and they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary here.
There's a lot of history in a place like this. The parlor contains a model of the Polar Express train signed by the original owner's son, Chris Van Allsburg. Chris is an award-winning children's author.
And that's kind of a claim to fame for Grand Rapids, because this is where he's from, growing up in East here.
The store itself is a step back in time. From old-fashioned school benches to the type of floor tile used, Jersey Junction has remained nearly the same since it opened in 1963.
It's one of those places that, needs to keep that feel. It doesn't change with the time. It actually gives people something to hold on to in terms of a memory.
Some things that do change are the many flavors of Hudsonville ice cream. Oliveras even demonstrated an artful way to scoop it into the cones.
The idea is it looks nicer on your cone, but it also helps it stick to the cone.
Joining us at Jersey Junction to talk about those Hudsonville flavors was Morgan Craig. She has a pretty cool job. She's a flavor development scientist.
Hudsonville Ice Cream has actually been making ice cream since 1926. They started out in Hudsonville, Michigan specifically. Then in the early 2000s, the Ellens family purchased it from the Jose family and moved it to Holland, Michigan.
In Holland, cows roam free.
We definitely get all of our milk and cream from local creameries and dairies around the area, which is really important to us.
She developed the newest flavor, Comeback Cooler. It was the winner of their Flavor of Detroit contest and is a tribute to Werner's Ginger Ale.
You don't just want like a face full of ginger when you eat this ice cream. So that was one of the really unique challenges to creating the Boston Cooler Comeback Cooler ice cream.
When Hudsonville ice cream is served to Jersey Junction customers,
it's kind of melty, so I'm going to give you a cup.
The employees aim for genuine customer service.
There is something to be said for how you interact with people, you know, making eye contact with somebody, not just being monotone and say, what can I get you? But it's more about like, hey, what sounds good today?
Jersey Junction ends their season October 28th, but Hudsonville ice cream flavors like pumpkin pie can still be found in stores across Michigan. In Grand Rapids, I'm Jessica Kroll.
The new Werner's flavor is also available in stores, so you may want to grab a pint in case it doesn't make another comeback.
We started producing pilot episodes for West Side Stories back in September of 2017. One of the things that made the show possible was the TV studio time that WGVU generously let us use to produce this show.
And another thing that WGVU gives us are episodes from their digital studios. For one final story tonight, we'd like to bring you a story from the series The Draft. Enjoy.
If I could keep time in a bottle or a big giant kettle like they do here at City Built in Grand Rapids, Chief Beer Officer Davis here, you literally have a big bag of time in your kettle because you're
all
making...
All the time you could need.
All the time in the world.
All the time in the world.
Time stands still.
Yeah. We're making a blueberry blonde with thyme. We like to incorporate some interesting flavors here at City Built, not just the typical hops and yeast flavors and malt flavors that you would get.
There, if you look on the menu, and we rattled some of them off earlier, this is herbal brewing.
It is. I've been inspired. I picked up a book called Sacred and Ancient Herbal Beers from the library. Our Grand Rapids Public Library has some awesome resources for brewing.
So anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it. If you can make soup, you can make beer. Inspiration struck. It's blueberry season here, so I wanted to show off some of our great local produce, and yet still have a different flair than everybody else that makes a blueberry blonde.
How much of this is a culinary background?
Yeah, I do love to cook. I love to watch cooking shows. Like I mentioned, I'm an addict of WGVU's Life channel. My girls and I love to sit down and watch British baking show. What's it called? British Bake Off?
Yes, Friday. Is it Friday nights? Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah. I'm watching with you.
So that's places like that is where I often get ideas for new flavors.
But the proof is how good it turns out. How often do you nail it? How often does it work out?
Well, my strategy is to start subtle and work my way up. So I try to shoot low and still have interesting stuff. So it usually works out. I would say probably close to 100% of the time.
All right, well, I have to try. It's called Chaga Khan. It has chaga fungus in it.
Yes, it does. It is. It's more of a woody fungus that grows on birch trees. It's really hard. You actually have to grind it in the coffee grinder to turn it into a powder.
All right, well, it sounds medicinal to me.
Yeah. It is traditionally used by Siberian and Native American healers, but...
Okay, well, I need some healing. Let's go check it out. I feel as though I'm having a Gene Simmons moment. We're going to tantalize the tongue here.
Yes.
We've got the chaga fungus in this beer.
Yes, our Chaga Khan.
What am I going to taste? How's it going to tantalize my tongue?
You'll first have a big mouth coating feel from the full-bodied chocolate stout, and then some of that roasty, toasty notes from the malt will come in.
Yes.
And then we'll finish with a very complex, woody earthiness from the chaga mushroom itself.
You nailed it. But herbal brewing, let's see what you have here. You have some...
So we have some malt and some hops.
Yep, got the basics.
That goes into pretty much every beer. And then we also add some other interesting stuff like lavender and chamomile. And we have those two together in our floral saison. I also use the chamomile and a green tea in our flower power, which is a famous one. And I'm drinking our Amore Estivo, which is Italian for summer love. It's got lemon zest and basil, so very refreshing.
Amore. All of this is very clean, it's very fresh.
Yes.
Is that what you strive for every time?
Yep, I'd like to have subtle yet interesting flavors in my beer and keep it light and easy to drink.
Subtle, interesting, delicious. City Built, Grand Rapids, Chief Beer Officer Dave here. Thank you, my man.
My pleasure.
All right. Cheers. Cheers, and thanks for joining us on The Draft.
Thank you to WGVU's digital studios for that story.
And thank you for joining us for our 2017 Year in Review show. I'm Preston Donikoski.
And I'm Reagan Blissett, and we'll see you next week.